And your share, we'll stick to the old rules. Let's work it out.
It's indeed a fine car. Our company will buy it for sure. Old rules, right?
Hey, what's with all this chatter over illegal rebates, guys?
He'll make a fat bonus. It's a pretty big purchase. I'm entitled to some travel expenses at least. And the company would have to pay this much anyway.
I've got a happy customer and scored a big sale. It's a win-win situation. So why not, right?
Eh? Happy customer? Get your facts right. The real client is the transportation company that employs Kenneth, i.e. Kenneth's principal. Not Kenneth himself, in fact. Prevention of Bribery Ordinance Section 9 says anyone offering advantage to any employee as a reward for doing any act related to the latter's duties, such as making purchase decisions, will commit the offense of corrupt transactions with agents, unless this employee has the approval of his principal, which is his employer. Do you really think that Kenneth's company would be happy to know that Kenneth has accepted kickbacks during the car purchases? Would the company allow him to do it? If Kenneth's company finds out about this, they probably won't do business with Martin's company in the future, so Martin's company would suffer the loss. It's a small industry, and as such, Martin may end up losing his career for good. The company should lay down a code of conduct prohibiting the offer of advantages with ulterior motive to employees or agents of other organizations in return for business or influencing their business decisions. Before offering business and customary gifts, it's a good practice to ascertain whether or not the recipient's organization allows him to accept such advantages from business contacts. Many companies believe it's legal if they have a policy in place which allows a salesperson to offer advantages to clients, but in fact, whether the intended recipient may accept or not depends on his company's policy. If the company does wish to provide rebates to clients to maintain long-term partnerships, beware that the client is the company itself rather than an employee's senior staff or board member. Hence, the rebates and any other promotion can only be offered to the client company and never its individual members.
But I could talk to my boss. I'm sure that Kenneth's daughter must be something special. Don't worry, I'm sure it's fine.
I've got a lot to learn from you.
Hey, stop joking.
Hey, this is an under-the-table deal. It's completely unfair. Proper recruitment procedures. Hey, you ever heard of that?
What? Looking for a job is all down to who you know. This is what Guanxi is all about.
Saving 1 or 2 openings for Guanxi is necessary. The candidates are all more or less the same. The process doesn't guarantee you'll hire the best person.
Under the Prevention of Bribery Ordinance, advantage refers to money as well as gifts, employment, contracts, services, favors, or any of the like. The Prevention of Bribery Ordinance also states that anyone soliciting advantage for another person will also be committing an act of solicitation. Therefore, when Kenneth solicited employment for his daughter as a reward for placing a purchase order with Martin, he committed the offense of soliciting bribes. And as Martin agreed to offer employment to Kenneth's daughter, Martin has committed the bribery offense. Employees are the soul of a company and its most important asset. The company should have a fair, objective, and proper recruitment system and procedures to ensure they can hire qualified and capable candidates. In order to maintain the company's long-term growth and edge, no opening should ever be sacrificed for short-term gains. Even if the company can bear the cost of hiring certain staff through cronyism or nepotism, this will only drive away those who are really capable. The best way to go about this is to conduct open recruitment as far as possible, make certain to lay down clearly the job description, the requirements and experience for each post, and then set up a panel for interviewing and recommending candidates based on the company's predetermined criteria, and be sure to properly document the results. If referral of candidates by members of staff is allowed by the company, be sure to prohibit the member of staff from accepting from the candidates advantages, referral fees, or rebates, and require him to declare the relationship with the candidates. The company should assess the referred candidates in accordance with established procedures and criteria in order to avoid any allegations of favoritism in the future. Please feel free to refer to the ICAC's Best Practice Checklist on Staff Administration for detailed corruption prevention measures in recruitment.
Our trade practice is in rebates. I always offer your dad kickbacks. I thought you knew. If you're unwilling to share commissions, I might not be able to allocate good clients to you.
We still have trade practices like this these days? The commission system's important. Why aren't there any clear guidelines and policies in this company? Are you saying because everyone else does it, that it's right, That it's not a problem?
Collective wisdom can't be wrong. Those who don't follow are fools.
Martin solicited commission from Yuki in return for referring good clients to her without having clear approval from the company. This action is equal to soliciting bribes, even though he repeatedly assured Yuki that accepting kickbacks is a norm. However, the law has clearly stated that it is not a defense to claim that any advantage accepted is customary in any profession, trade, or calling. In fact, the company has not explicitly allowed or acknowledged this practice and may not even be aware it exists among staff. That's why it's foolish for Martin to follow the so-called collective wisdom. It's not reliable. Employees should familiarize themselves with the provisions of the Prevention of Bribery Ordinance and the company's policies on solicitation, acceptance, and offers of advantages. And when in doubt like Yuki, one should always make it a point to consult the company's designated staff for a clear directive in the matter. The company should establish sound systems and controls for processes that are prone to abuse, such as staff commission schemes and allocation of job duties, and others that are similar, and make sure staff understand what actions are not allowed and the consequences of breaching the rules. A commission system can be useful to motivate staff and drive sales. However, a system that is overly complicated may cause staff to feel overly stressed or even cause greed. The company should avoid relying too much on commission to make up their staff's income, adopt a simple scheme for calculating and distributing commission, and prohibit supervisors from requiring a share of subordinates' commission as a condition for preferential treatment. When it comes to the allocation of client accounts or job duties, the company should require supervisors to assign the work to staff based on predetermined and objective criteria, so that the assignments are always equitable and make the information available and transparent to all staff involved.
Yuki, you introduced the new model to him.
Yuki was assigned to introduce the new model to her dad, clearly a conflict of interest. Even if she believed that she'd be able to carry out her duties impartially, she should declare the conflict of interest to the company immediately to avoid allegations of favoritism or corrupt practice. Lay down guidelines on handling conflict of interest that require staff to avoid actual or potential ones, and declare the conflict in the case it can't be avoided. After receiving the declaration, the company should make proper arrangements, like deploying other staff to take over the business transaction or requiring supervisors to closely monitor the situation and properly document the actions taken.